So this is the new OnePlus Nord 5 and this is the Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Why am I showing you these two phones? Because if you're looking for a good phone under rupees 30,000, these are two of the best options for you right now. We already know a lot about the Edge 60 Pro, but the Nord 5 is new and it's also doing a few things differently this time around compared to last year's Nord 4. So what's new, what's better, and what's a bit weird? I'm going to explore all of that in this video and of course compare it to the Edge 60 Pro. Alright, if you're watching me for the first time, I'm Arshad. This is Track and Tech English, your destination for detailed, incisive gadget reviews. You know, I loved last year's all-metal Nord 4, but when OnePlus changed that this time around with the glass back and the plastic frame, I was slightly disappointed. Meanwhile, the Edge 60 Pro keeps things classy with the vegan leather back. It's also lighter and more comfortable to hold and use compared to the Nord 5. The Nord 5 that we've been using is the Marble Sands variant and it looks kinda impressive, but there are two other colors as well. Now, if you want a more somber color, there's also a grey variant. Moto, of course, has these Pantone approved shades that kind of pop. Now, one thing I must mention about the vegan leather back is that you can see it very clearly. It gets really dirty. Now that problem is not going to be there with the Nord 5 for sure. Now in terms of glass protection, you do get Corning Gorilla Glass 7i on the front for both these devices, but when you look at durability, Moto definitely has an edge because you get support for IP68 and IP69 rating, which is only IP65 on the Nord 5. Plus you also do get military standard 8108 certification. Now ports and buttons are standard fare. You get a dual SIM card tray, you get a Type-C 2.0 port, of course no Type-C 3.0 here, and you also do get a power button, volume rocker, all of that. But both these phones have an extra button in the form of the Moto AI key, which is there on the left. And again, with the OnePlus also, it's there on the left, and that is the plus key. Now, both of these are AI keys, and I'll talk about that when I talk about the software. Now, before I talk about the display, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give us your support. We're trying to hit 1 million soon. Alright, now time to talk about the displays. And when you look at the Nord 5, you actually get the larger 6.83-inch flat AMOLED display. You also do get a 1.5K resolution, and the display is a 120Hz display which can go up to 144Hz in certain games. With the Motorola, what you get is a 6.7-inch curved panel. Now, this is also a 120Hz refresh rate panel. It's a 1.5K resolution panel with POLED technology and Pantone validation too. Now, the first thing that we checked on these displays is definitely the color accuracy. And when you look at it, OnePlus actually does better color accuracy despite the Pantone validation with the Edge 60 Pro. Now, when you take these displays outdoors and the sunlight falls on it directly, the high brightness mode metric that you get is actually the same. But when you looked at it very intently, the Nord 5 appeared slightly brighter. However, where Moto easily beats the Nord 5 is definitely in HDR tuning, where the specular highlights definitely pop on the Edge 60 Pro and the display quality is really good. Both these phones do offer a very high PWM dimming rating, but Nord 5's is much higher than the Edge 60 Pro. The optical in-display fingerprint scanner is fine on both, nothing to tell the two apart. But what surprised me the most was that the haptic feedback motor is largely very similarly tuned on both, and I couldn't tell the difference between the two. Now both the phones have stereo speakers, with the Nord 5 coming with a dedicated stereo speaker, which is definitely good. Moto uses the earpiece as the secondary speaker, and therefore I feel like the Nord 5 actually does sound louder compared to the Edge 60 Pro. However, we felt like the Edge 60 Pro actually sounds richer thanks to Dolby Atmos. Take a listen to it for yourself and let me know which one do you guys prefer. And if you're looking for high-res Bluetooth codec support like LDAC and LSDC, both actually support it, which is nice. So overall, if you look at it, I feel like the display and multimedia experience, despite having a curved panel, is slightly better on the Edge 60 Pro compared to the Nord 5. Now, if you do prefer a flat panel like I do, then the Nord 5 would be the better option for you. Alright, now it's time to talk about the performance. And with the Nord 5, what you get is Snapdragon 8s Gen 3, which is a side grade from last year's Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3 inside the Nord 4. You also do get LPDDR5X RAM type, but UFS 3.1 storage in all the variants, not just the base variant, which is kind of odd. So you get an 8 256GB variant, which is the starting variant, not a 128GB variant. You also do get a 12 256GB variant and a 12 512GB variant. In fact, you get the same variants with the Moto Edge 60 Pro as well, but it has Dimensity 8350, LPDDR5X RAM type and UFS 4.0 storage. Now in benchmarks, the Nord 5 scored higher on Antutu and Geekbench, but in CPU throttle tests, the H60 Pro showed better stability and higher average jips. Now in 3D Mark Wildlife stress test, though the GPU performance of the Nord 5 is exceptional because you do get better stability, you also do get higher frame rates as well. So despite having the headroom for more performance, it actually doesn't throttle as much as the H60 Pro does. It does get slightly hotter. Now with the Nord 5, the gaming performance is definitely better than the H60 Pro once again, because in Genshin Impact, where we play the game for 30 minutes at highest graphics and 60 frames per second, we actually did get a higher average FPS on the Nord 5, which is not very surprising. Plus, it also runs fairly cool. The 7300mm square vapor cooling chamber is definitely helping keep things run cool on the Nord 5. Actually, the Nord 5's performance tuning is something that I really like. The only problem that I faced is the slow read-write speeds with the UFS 3.1. They should have given UFS 4.0. In fact, with the Nord 5, we tried it out and you can actually play BGMI with game frame interpolation at 144 FPS, which is also a nice thing to have. So the gameplay tuning and the performance tuning is definitely better on the Nord 5. This is something we noticed even in daily life experience. Now, while the Nord 5 also comes with a large 6800 mAh battery, now this is not a silicon carbon battery. I did expect it to have better battery life than what we were getting in our testing. I was expecting anywhere between 10 to 11 hours of screen on time, but we got only about 9 hours of screen on time. Whereas Motorola definitely offers better battery life even with the smaller 6000 mAh silicon carbon battery inside it. So higher density battery with better battery efficiency is what is possible with the H60 Pro. That's not it. You also do get 90 watt charging speeds with the charger inside the box and 15 watt wireless charging speeds, which is not supported. Wireless charging is not supported on the Nord 5. With the Nord 5, you get 80 watt charging speeds with the charger inside the box. And both these phones take about 50 to 53 minutes for a full charge. So performance is Nord 5, battery is Moto. Alright, time to talk about the cameras. The H60 Pro immediately has a hardware advantage because what you get is the 50 megapixel Sony Litia 700C primary camera. You get a 50 megapixel ultra wide angle camera and a 10 megapixel 3x telephoto camera as well. Even on the front, what you get is a 50 megapixel selfie camera. Now with the Nord 5, you do not get the telephoto, so what you get is a primary 50 megapixel Sony Litia 700 sensor. You also get an 8 megapixel ultra wide, which is okay, and you also do get a 50 megapixel selfie camera. Alright, let's just take a look at the pictures and find out which one does better. So the primary camera on the OnePlus at 100% crop preserves more details and doesn't over sharpen as much as Motorola does. The 2x in-sensor crop on OnePlus is actually excellent. Moto is definitely no match here. I don't know what went wrong with Moto. But since Motorola has a dedicated 3x camera at longer zoom ranges like at 3x and 6x, Moto easily wins. One thing I noticed is that OnePlus has definitely improved the low light performance by leaps and bounds. You can see the brighter exposure with more information being retrieved from the darker portion. But 100% crop reveals that Motorola offers the cleaner output with no artificial sharpening, which is kind of odd because Motorola over sharpens the pictures in daylight but not in low light. Now in these samples, we're checking the color accuracy, and OnePlus and Motorola struggle with reproducing the accurate red of the Uno card deck here. But Moto is a tad bit better with color reproduction of the blues and the greens, making it the easier color size to recommend. The Pantone collaboration is definitely coming in handy here. Now even with skin tones, Motorola skin tones are closer to neutral, not entirely neutral, but closer to neutral compared to OnePlus. By the way, OnePlus did mention when we were talking about the Nord 5 that the Nord 5's HDR tuning is same as that of the OnePlus 13. Now, while the HDR performance has definitely improved and I really like the Nord 5's photos compared to Nord 4's photos, it is still no match for Moto's HDR performance because Moto's HDR tuning this year has been fantastic. Just take a look at the tree bark where Moto's algorithm pulls out a lot of details from the shadows. Portraits again are definitely better on Moto with better semantic segmentation and bokeh drop-off. Plus, with Moto you can shoot in 4 different focal lengths from 23mm to 85mm, whereas on the Nord 5 you can only shoot in 24mm and 48mm. When it comes to ultra-wide angle shots, again Motorola easily wins. The 50 megapixel sensor delivers more detail, better HDR and consistent color across lenses as well. This is also true for the low-light ultra-wide shots, by the way. Moto is definitely better than OnePlus. Selfies on the other hand are definitely superior on OnePlus because of the superior Samsung JN5 sensor. There's something with OnePlus this year. They seem to have concentrated a lot on the selfie performance because with the OnePlus 13s we got a good selfie camera. With the OnePlus Nord 5 we get a good selfie camera. And you know what? The OnePlus Nord CE5, I'm just giving you a hint, also has a good selfie camera. Videos coming soon. Stay tuned for that. By the way, both the phones can also shoot macros using the ultra wide angle sensor, but I prefer Motorola's macro shots since it pulls in more details using its 50 megapixel sensor. Now for video recording, OnePlus records 4K 60 FPS with both the primary and the selfie cameras, while Moto does 4K 30 FPS across all lenses. It also supports HDR video recording, which OnePlus kinda lacks. So when we look at the primary video recording quality at 4K 60 FPS, OnePlus definitely wins in video quality, especially with the detail and the dynamic range, but we notice that Moto offers slightly better stabilization, but overall, if you want to shoot videos, then OnePlus is the one for you. With the ultra wide angle camera, no doubt Motorola shoots better videos than OnePlus here because it has the larger sensor. But switch back to selfie camera, which a lot of people will be using for shooting videos. OnePlus definitely shoots better videos because it can shoot at 4K 60 FPS as opposed to 4K 30 FPS on Moto. You do get smoother footage. And even in low light video recording, when you look at it, OnePlus does a fairly good job compared to Moto. So overall, if you want a versatile set of cameras in the 30,000 rupee price category, along with a telephoto and a very high resolution ultra wide angle camera, you really cannot go wrong with Moto. But with the Nord 5, I'm just glad that OnePlus has leveled up in terms of camera performance because, of course, the selfies look fantastic, but more importantly, the primary camera performance, especially in daylight and low light, is fantastic, and the video recording quality is top notch too. So both very good set of cameras, just that Motorola has more cameras. Alright, now time to talk about the software, and with Nord 5, what you get is, of course, OxygenOS 15 based on Android 15 with the promise of 4 plus 6 years of updates, whereas with Motorola, what you get is Hello UI based on Android 15 with the promise of 3 plus 4 years of updates. Now, both the software experiences are minimalistic in nature, which means that there are very few extra third-party apps that are pre-installed, all of which are uninstallable too. But there's one distinctive advantage with OxygenOS, which I absolutely love, is the fact that OxygenOS definitely has fluider, smoother, faster animations compared to Hello UI. You also do get parallel animations, and apps just load up fast and minimize fast too. But if you're looking at feature sets, Motorola definitely has a more feature-rich software experience because what you get is Secure Hub, Moto Gestures, Family Spaces, Moto Unplugged, and then there are a bunch of AI features. I have spoken at length about the AI features, all of which is tied together with Next Move. Now, if you want to know more about it, go check out our Motorola Edge 60 Pro review. You'll get all the details there. At the same time with OxygenOS, again, I've spoken at length about OxygenOS. You do get stuff like live activities, which is more modern in terms of design, along with like 2 stacks and stuff like that. And also you do get Flux themes. So the lock screen implementation is definitely much better compared to the Edge 60 Pro. And there are a bunch of AI features too, all of which we have explored in phones like the OnePlus 13s, including that awesome AI translation with the call recorder app that you have, which is really, really good. So if you look at it in terms of features and AI experience, both are really close to each other, with Motorola having a bit of an edge in terms of features. But since OxygenOS is slightly more refined, I'm leaning towards OxygenOS slightly, but both are really good operating systems. Alright, so for the conclusion, I'm wearing different set of clothes primarily because I was waiting for the price of the Nord 5, and we have confirmation that it's going to be priced under 30,000 rupees for the base variant of the phone. So the Snapdragon 8s Gen 3 inside the Nord 5 is definitely a side grade compared to the Nord 4 Snapdragon 7 Plus Gen 3, but it is still a very powerful chipset in this price range, and it's definitely more powerful than the Edge 60 Pro. And if you look at it as an overall package, when you look at the display, the battery experience, and even the software experience, the Nord 5 is actually very good. But more importantly, with OnePlus, what you get now, at least after all of that green line issues have been sorted, is reliability, because you do get updates on time and the service experience has a little more finesse. With the Edge 60 Pro, what you get is definitely a phone that packs way better hardware and more premium hardware compared to the Nord 5. IP69 rating, 3x telephoto camera, wireless charging, all of which are not there with the Nord 5. But we've also noticed that a lot of consumers of the Moto Edge series have been complaining about problems that they've been facing with reliability and software update issues as well. So that's something you have to keep in mind. So with all of that laid out for you clearly, which one of these two phones would you pick? Let me know in the comment section. Now, if you guys ask me, it's a tough choice. It's almost like a tie, and I cannot really pick one because both are really, really good. And there are different sets of audiences for each phone. All right, that's it from me for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Until then, keep tracking and stay safe.